Hello everyone and welcome to this wonderful game that I call Slay the Spire. Well, I don't call it Slay the Spire, that's its name, that's what it's called. That's what we're going to be playing today. If you haven't played Slay the Spire before, it is a roguelike game and it incorporates some elements of dungeon crawling, some elements of card mechanics, and the general elements of building a character and just being the biggest boss you can be. As I play through the game, I'm going to give a few hints as to what's happening so you can get a gist of how to play, but otherwise I'm just going to jump straight in. Now if you are confused at any point, leave some comments. I'll be able to hopefully change that for the next video, but where I can I will explain what I can. Now the best way to do this is just jump straight in the game, and at the minute we only have one character we can play as. That is this guy, the Ironclad. The remaining soldier of the Ironclads sold his soul to harness demonic energies. Quite scary, if I must say so myself. As the Ironclad, we have 80 HP. We start with 99 gold. Now, gold we can use to buy cards and abilities and such as we journey through the spire and climb the various levels. But we'll explain that when we come to it. Our starting ability is Burning Blood. At the end of combat, heals 6 HP. Now that is going to be massively useful because it's not very often you get to heal, and as like I say, with this being a roguelike, when you die, you die. So let's just begin. Okay, so here we are in Act 1, and what you can see here at the minute is various different paths leading through the spire to get to hopefully the end here to fight the big bad boss. As you can see, the routes interchange, but once you're set on a path, you're stuck on it. You can't just hop between paths. Each of the icons you can see here down the side is a legend. So we've got question marks, which are unknown. You don't know what's going to happen there. It could be any of these things or something else. Merchants, treasure, rest, enemy, and an elite enemy. Now, elite enemies, as it says, is powerful foes. Defeating them will reward you with a relic. Now, relics are these things up here. Like I said, Burning Blood is the one we've got at the start. Now I'm not too fussed which one we take at this point, so I'm just going to go for it. You can micromanage it and think how many campfires you can get to level up the best, but I'm just going to roll with it. We're going to start on this one because I like this one. Now yeah, the tutorial is popping up here. So the aim of the game is to defeat enemies by playing cards from your hand. Cards require energy to play. Once you are out, end your turn. At the start of your turn, new cards are drawn and your energy is replenished. Play defensive cards to gain block when enemies are about to attack you. Block reduces incoming attack damage but wears off at the start of your next turn. And finally, during your turn you can observe an enemy's intent above them. If an enemy is intent on attacking you, be sure to gain some block. So hopefully that's given you a quick idea, but yeah, it's very handy that you get to see what your enemy is about to do next so you can react as you go. So here we are, our first battle. So this is us, we are on 80 hit points. Nifty little sword. Don't know why it's holding it backwards, but you know. And we're fighting 2 slimes. And I can see here there's 5 in the dagger, means they're planning, or their enemy is intending to attack for 5 damage, and this one is intending to attack for 10, and that's its corresponding hit points. And these are the cards we have to play this turn. We're going to... We're going to open up with a... Now we're not going to, we could block here, that would prevent this 5 damage coming through. However, we can also just eliminate that slime this turn. We've got 3 strikes, 1 energy each, and we've got 3 energy in total, so that is what we're going to do. That will nullify the attack, and consequently nullify the need to play the defend. If we had played the defend, that slime would still be up, and it'll still be a problem next time round. It does mean we are going to take 10 damage though, which is pretty punishing, but like I said, we've got this artifact here. Burning Blood at the end of combat heals 6 HP. So this symbol means it's not going to attack, but it's going to do something that's going to impact us quite negatively and not in a fun way. So with that in mind, we're not going to try to do any blocks, we're just going to go full out, deal as much damage as we can and end our turn. Here we go. When you have no more cards in your deck, which is symbolised down here, your cards that you used already refresh and they come back into deck again, like so. There we go. So now we can replay the same cards. There's a couple of strategies at play here. You can have a really small deck, so you're very reliable on what you can have, or build it and be a bit more flexible, but it does mean you're going to encounter cards less often. Now I think we're just going to finish this guy off. We're going to go in with a big bash, does 6 damage and implies 2 vulnerable. Now vulnerable is his status effect, as you can see here. Receive 50% more damage from attacks for 2 turns. Now, not gonna lie, that's very impressive. So by default, this strike is currently doing 4 damage. The reason why it's got reduced damage is because we've also got a status effect on us called weakened, which the slime has applied. But if we hover over to attack, you can now see it says 6 damage down there at the bottom. So we're going to just hit in there. And then watch. It's going to lick us! Ooh. It's persistently kept that weakened effect up. But now we can just say, goodbye slime! 7 damage? No thank you mate, you're not having that. We are winning. There we go. And our spoils, our loot, as it is a dungeon crawler essentially. 14 gold, very nicely. Up there we've got 113 altogether. A potion. Now you can collect these potions after every battle. You can store up to 3 potions at a time. You can get more, but that requires a different artifact. I think they're called artifacts. I might be getting that completely wrong. I think they are. Something like that. We've got a potion there. Choose 1 of 3 random attack cards. It costs 0 that turn. There we go. Tip, potions. Drink or throw away potions during combat. Throw away? No, not throw away. Throw potions. We want to keep potions. Yeah, and the potions stay with us throughout, and we get to add a new card to our deck. Now, what do we have here? We've got See in Red, gain 2 energy, but exhaust. Now, exhaust means you can never use that card ever again. It's gone. Well, you can, but not in that fight right there. Cleave, 8 damage to all enemies. I quite like the sound of that. That's pretty impressive. Thunderclap, deal 4 damage and apply 1 vulnerable to all enemies. So these two are quite similar. This one does more upfront damage, this one does less, but we do get that vulnerable effect, which means follow-up attacks. Yeah, we're going to go for that Thunderclap one. As you begin to play through the game, you'll notice that your deck hopefully starts to get a bit of a theme. You kind of want a theme, otherwise you're just going to go in with, you're going to get eliminated straight away. You're going to be a jack of all trades if you like. You want to set on a theme. So you can choose to skip cards. You don't have to get cards every time. Here we go, we're going to fight our next enemy. And we are fighting a Jawworm. He's going to hit us for 11. Now, we want to try and protect ourselves from that as much as we can. Defend for 10. We're not going to play the third defend, just because for the sake of getting hit for 1, I'd rather get an attack and a strike, and we can heal 6 at the end of combat. So that's what we're going to do, and then watch to see what it does. Well, we know what it's going to do. It's going to hit us for 11. Okay, hit for 7. Now this symbol means it's going to attack and block. So it's hitting us for 7, which is slightly less, but it's also going to block on its next turn. So I do want to protect from some of that. Again, I'll play the block for 5, and I'm going to place bash instead of 2 strikes. Now the reason being is because it also applies to vulnerable, which means again follow-up attacks good at 50% more. And especially with him having a block, we will try and break through that. So the 50% bonus damage will be really helpful. Okay. Blocked for 5. It's going to use a buff, a defensive buff next turn. That could be raising its strength, or that could be doing something else. We don't know. And here I'm going to go in with another bash to kind of keep that vulnerable state up, and then a strike. See, now that vulnerable is stacked, it's now gone for 3 more turns. Oh yeah, it's raised its strength. Ah, okay. Now can we eliminate it this turn? That's the thing. What's the 9 and 9 is 80. Yes, we can. It's got 11 hit points, 6 block. But strikes, even though by default they do 6, they're going to actually do 9. The reason being is because of that vulnerable state it's got. So we're just going to hit it twice, and then bye-bye. Ah, we're not doing too bad. See, this is the easiest stage of the game. It gets a little bit more complex later on. But let's see. 20 gold, poison potion, and a new card. Now this is where I'm going to start thinking about themes of decks. At the minute we don't really have one. We can see our cards in our deck by clicking up here. These are the strikes and the defense you get by default, and you get 1 bonus by default. This is a bash in this case. Now we've got the Thunderclap, so that's like an AoE. we going to go for an AoE theme or not? 7 block, but it's going to exhaust a card. 5 damage twice. Anger's a really good card once upgraded and essentially get unlimited attacks for 0, but what it does mean is it does fill up your hand, it does fill up your deck, so you're not likely to get to your other things. It's good for... yeah, we'll go for Anger. It's good for ending combats in a one fell swoop. Okay, found our first question mark, our first unknown. Shining light. You find a shimmering mass of light in the centre of the room. So yeah, awkward pause because I couldn't remember how to say it. Encompassing. Encompassing the centre of the room. There we go. I did it. It's a warm glow and enchanting patterns invite you in. Now we can enter to upgrade 2 random cards. We're going to lose 16 HP though, but that's not a problem. We've still got quite a lot. We'll get a chance to restore that later. Leaving does nothing, but upgrading 2 cards is amazing. You want to upgrade cards as often as you can. There we go. So I don't know if you saw that then, but what that's done is it's made a strike into its upgrade. You can tell by its green text and the plus mark. It now does 9 damage by default. Likewise, our Thunderclap now does 7 damage instead of 4, which is amazing. Well worth the HP loss. You feel invigorated, as though you received a well-deserved slap. Okay, now we've got a branch here. We can choose to go for another baddie, and then a question, and then we branch again. This route is the same. Essentially what I want to do is want to go for this campfire. So it doesn't matter which way I go. I'm going to question mark first to see if we get anything else to buff us before our next fight. As you come to a dead end, you begin to turn around. Walls slam down from the ceiling, trapping you. 3 faces materialise from the walls and speak. Forget what you know, and I'll let you go. I require change to see a new space. If you want to pass me, then you must grow. So we've got 3 options here. We can forget, change or grow, corresponding with these, each of which gives us a different boon. We can remove a card from our deck, we can transform a card in our deck, or upgrade a card in our deck. Now removing cards in your deck, you might think, why would I want to do that? But again, thinking back to what I mentioned earlier, the smaller your deck is, the better it can sometimes be, so you might want to remove those sometimes. However, we're quite early on and I don't want to remove anything yet. So we can transform a card. Now what transform does is it picks a card, or you pick a card, and it randomly changes it to something else. That random element can be good in early on to see if you want to modify your playstyle, or you can just upgrade. Now we've pretty much upgraded the key things here, which is our 2 bonus cards. However, Anger, I'm thinking about maybe upgrading. What does... but we can transform something. No, we'll upgrade Anger. What does that do? 8 damage. Yeah, okay. We'll go for that. So that's going to help us in our next fight, hopefully. Now cultists. Okay, cultists are interesting. You want to try and eliminate these as quick as you can, as early on as you can. They have this ability where they can boost their strength by 3 every turn. That is not fun. That's 3 extra damage each turn they're going to do. So we're not currently doing anything to hurt us, so we're going to go straight in with the bash to apply that vulnerable effect for 50% more damage, and then our upgraded strike. And we're going to end our turn. And we've already done about half its hit points damage to it. My power is unmatched! Ritual, there we go. So it applies ritual effect, and what it's going to do is every turn it's going to boost its strength by 3. So we're trying to eliminate it as quick as we can. Now it's still in vulnerable state. Can we eliminate it? 6 and 8. 7. Let's see. First of all, let's use our new Anger. You see there, I've used it. Whoop! Into the discard, and then a copy of it into the discard as well. I think we can. We can just eliminate it. There we go! My powers were unmatched. Yes, they were. Yeah, those are kind of alright in their own. There is an encounter later on where you get 3 of them at once. It becomes a little bit more challenging. That's when you kind of want the AoE stuff. Now here we go. So we've got a Thunderclap again, if you want to continue the theme of AoE. A Body Slam. Deal damage equal to your block. So if you're playing quite defensive, you can still defend yourself and then smash in for a hit. Perfectish Strike, however, is a really good card just overall. Deals 6 damage, deals 2 additional damage for all your cards containing Strike. Now those are these ones here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the minute. So at the minute, this will do 16 damage? I think. Yeah. which is okay. I'm going to take that just because it's a big hitter. We don't currently have a big hitter. Now campfire. Okay, what shall I do? We can rest here, restore 30% of our hit points, which is 24 hit points. We don't really need to do that. We're only 11 down. Or we can smith. We can upgrade a card in our deck. Now, even if I'm at half health, sometimes I will always smith, because chances are upgrading a card will keep you alive longer in a fight and end the fight quicker, so you lose less hit points. So rather than just healing up, sometimes better to upgrade, and you get to keep the upgrade. I would only ever rest if I was on maybe 20 or 30% hit points. So we're going to smith, and we are going to upgrade that perfective strike we've just received. Now the reason being is because it does 3 additional damage for our last strike cards then, which is amazing. 2 energy for such a heavy hitter. I'll have that. Now we've got an option here for 2 things to fight: a normal enemy or an elite. As elites are going to give us these additional bonuses here. They are tougher though. Doesn't mean we're going to fight a normal enemy straight after before we get to this treasure chest. The alternate way is just to fight 1 enemy and a potential boon and treasure. However, it's early on. While the boss fights are a bit easier, let's try to get as many artifacts as we can. Ah! Now this guy is interesting. He's got quite a lot of hit points, and he has an ability that you'll see in a moment where he keeps improving his strength, so you want to end this fight as quick as you can. Now, we're going to open with a Thunderclap to apply that vulnerable. We're going to then play an Anger. We're just going to basically hit this guy for as much as we can, as early as we can. There we go. Now you'll see why. Roar! He's enraged! There we go. Enraged. Whenever you play a skill, gains 2 strength. So skills are the cards that have this icon here. Well, not icon, but the text, skip. Now thankfully my only skill cards I think are the blocks. So as long as I don't play a block, his strength will improve. But hey, quick save, you might say. That doesn't make any sense. You want to block to prevent the damage. Yes, you do. But by trying to block, you're improving his damage. So the best thing to do is just end the fight as quick as you can. And I think we'll be able to do that. So I'm going to hit with this perfective strike first. Take him right down. Follow up with a normal strike. We're going to absorb the 6 damage, which we can heal at the end of this combat. And then hopefully have enough attacks to take him out this turn. We do! Look at that! Joyous! Let's just go in there. I think that's the quickest I've ever taken one of those guys out. Ooh! Now here we go, more loot. 33 gold. And like I said, here we go. Because that was an elite boss, elite combat, sorry, we got this new boon here. Mercury Hourglass. At the start of your turn, deal 3 damage to all enemies. Now that is one of my favourites. That's not start of every combat, that's the start of every turn. It's 3 damage, that's free. They're called relics, not artifacts. Ah! Okay, yeah, relics. I get confused because there is a thing called artifacts in the game. Never mind. Anyway, relics can be found throughout the Spire, grant unique bonuses, and remain throughout your run. They can be found by defeating powerful foes or within chests. Now it gets absolutely insane to a point where if you survive long enough you can have relics all the way across the top row here. You can collect so many. I'm going to pick an additional card now. Ghostly Armor gives us 10 block. The trouble is, when we get this we have to play it, otherwise it's got this thing called Ethereal, which means it gets exhausted. So exhausted cards are removed from your deck until the end of the combat. We don't have that many block things. So we're going to go for that. 10 block for 1 energy is brilliant. There we go, onto our standard enemy. So as you'll notice now as we get into more and more fights, our deck is growing. We now have 14 cards. So it's going to get less reliable, our deck. I've got that new card is here, Ghostly Armor. So we need to play that this turn or it's going to disappear, and that is all fine in my book, because this guy's going to hit us for 7 anyway. Means we don't have to place other defend. That means we could just go in for a bash and apply the vulnerable. Hmm. 12. Can we just take him out? 2. What would that do? 27 damage. So we would need how much more? 8 more damage? We can do it! Let's just perfectly strike him and then strike him. Take him out of the fight. Turn 2, there we go. We got 6 health back there as well. So new card. Another perfected strike. I don't see why not. Let's go for some treasure. Now treasures are amazing. Sometimes you get these relics. And you do. Oh, look at that. Fossilized helix. Prevent the first time you would lose HP each combat. That's amazing. Okay. I've got another unknown. The wing statue. Among the stones and boulders you notice an intricate large blue statue resembling a wing. You find gold spilling from its cracks. Maybe there's more inside. So this option here is locked made a card with 10 or more damage. So we can't do that one. Now we can pray you remove a card from the deck and lose 7 HP. Do you want to remove anything? Let's see. Is there anything here that doesn't quite fit our theme so far? No, I think we're just going for the aggressive route, aren't we? I think we're fine. I think we're just going to leave. Yeah, we're just going to leave. Merchant or campfire? Do we get another campfire before we do? But I want to use that one to heal. Merchant, we have enough money. 196. Yeah, let's see what we can get from the merchant. Do we need to upgrade anything? No, I think we're going to go to the merchant and see what he's got to offer. Now here we go, the first time seeing the merchant. He gives us a couple of cards, which are random, what we can purchase for the value of the gold, seen underneath. These are for our character. You notice all the cards so far have been red, you know, this character is the red character. Then we've got some neutral cards, if you like, colourless cards, which have certain things here. And on here we've got some relics which we can purchase if we have enough money, and some potions. And we can remove a card from our deck. Now what are these relics? That's the first thing I want to see. When your HP is at or below 50%, you have additional 3 strength. Now that is pretty good. However, I don't really want to be below that much HP all that often. Warpaint. Upon pickup, upgrade 2 random skills. Do we have any skills that we want to upgrade? It's going to pick, maybe do some defense though. It might do our ghostly armor though. Choose attack power card. Add a copy of that card to your hand. So we can... Then we're going to purchase this warpaint. Upgrades 2 defense. That's okay. I'm alright with that. It's not great, but... Now I think I want another thunderclap. Applying that vulnerable constantly is going to be great for us if we're going to play aggressively. There we go. If that's all the money we've got to spend, let's move on. Now these things. So you notice then they've lost 3 hit points. That is because of our wonderful hourglass. Okay. So we are going to do some defense this turn regardless. I don't want to take that many hits. Good news is, one of those will not get through the block. The second one will break the block, but then however our buffer here, because our fossilized helix, will prevent that, which is great. Then I'm just going to play these 2 thunderclaps, I think. That's the best thing to do. Play another one. Now I'm hoping this anger is going to have enough now to take out one of these guys. 12 damage altogether. So yeah, I'm going to go for the guy with 11. There we go. Just end the turn. That was pretty good. That was a pretty good turn. I'm pretty happy with that. No, sir. Oh, no, it still hit me. Why did it hit me? Ah, yes, because these have this Spore Cloud ability, so on death, they applied 2 vulnerable to me. So it broke through that block. Damn. Doesn't really matter. We're just going to strike him and take him out. There we go. Nice and easy. 20 more gold, a block potion, and a new card for our deck. Now what we're going to do. Having the ability just to gain the extra energy in a tight sitch may be good. Yeah, we're going to do that. Now we're going to go... Now we are going to go this way. We're going to get another unknown, which might give us a buff. We're going to fight another elite, try and get another relic. then we're going to heal at this campfire if we need to. This way is great, but it doesn't really give us anything special. It's just 2 normal enemies, which means 2 cards. It's not all that exciting. So, ooh, here we go. Our unknown led us to some treasure. That is perfect. A mummified hand. Whenever you play a power card, a random card in your hand costs 0 that turn. Amazing. Yes, I will take that. Here we go. Now, so here, artifact. There we go. So these are the ones that... This is what I was talking about, artifacts. See, I get confused. Now what these do, it negates 1 buff. So the first buff that ever hits these guys, or debuff, will not be effective. Now these have a unique battle strategy. They'll switch, and each turn they'll either... This negative effect, which will put... Well, you'll see. We'll put a... I'll tell you what. We'll see. Let's just roll with it. Now I don't have any way to defend myself here. But do I have a way to just eliminate them? The first thing I'm going to do is Thunderclap, because that's going to remove these artifacts from them. It means I don't get the weakness effect on them this turn, but it means it does remove it. Now I do have the buffer to prevent that 9, so even though we can't block, that's okay. So I'm going to go for a bash, and an anger, and then end turn. We're going to keep the C in red for another time. There we go. So this is what it does. Their ability adds these 2 dazed cards to my discard pile. Now if you have a look at my discard pile really quick, you can see them there. So when this pile gets refreshed, puts back into my deck, these cards we put in. And as you can see, they're unplayable. So it clogs up your hand basically. So the longer this fight goes on, the worse. Okay. So I'm going to play this Thunderclap to apply some more weaknesses, and that has taken out this guy. Can I can... Yes, I can take that guy out, and I'll absorb the 9 from the other one. I'm okay with that. We don't need to play the ghostly armor. We are just going to perfective strike it. There we go. Ended. We've got a mango. Upon... Yes, there we go. Upon pickup, raise your max HP by 14. There we go. That's amazing. That's going to take that hit point right up. You always want to be raising your max hit points, because whenever you rest at a campsite, it raises 30% of your max HP. So the higher your max HP, the more hit points you're going to get back. So I'm really happy with that. 34 gold, and we get to add a new card. Now again, speaking of raising max HP, here we go, feed. Deal 10 damage. If this kills a non-minion enemy, raise your max HP by 3. There we go. It does have exhaust though, so you can use it once per combat. But again, that'll keep raising our HP over here. And these are great, but nothing comes up against feed. And as you can see, it's got its orange banner, which means it is indeed a legendary card. Now we're going to proceed. We're going to go to the campfire. We're going to upgrade something. What are we going to upgrade? What does feed upgrade to? 12 and 4. Okay, that's a good shout. This costs 0. We're going to something that's probably going to help us against this boss fight. That is probably going to help against this boss fight a lot. Yeah. That ability to gain that more block in this boss fight is going to be amazing. So we'll do that one. Okay, right. Boss fight is next. However, I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to leave you on a cliffhanger. We'll do that next time. As you can see, we've made our way through this run here. We've got all these amazing cards in our deck now, ready to go. We've built that up. We've got these various relics here, which are going to help us. We've got full health, almost. We've got our potions that they're ready to use in this boss fight. So with that, I'll see you next time. We'll take on this boss and hopefully pass this first arc. Alright, thanks again guys. This is Quick Save, and I'll see you again really shortly.